All right, good morning, class. I hope you guys had an awesome spring break, a nice time off. I will be back on Thursday, so I will see you then. Please treat Miss M with respect. She is an awesome teacher to have for the next few days. So please treat her with respect. I am having a nice time in sunny Arizona, in case anyone was curious about that. So I am having a nice time, and I hope you guys are excited to start Chapter 12, because that is the next thing we are going into with pre-algebra. Chapter 12 is going to talk about the Pythagorean Theorem. Alright, so the Pythagorean Theorem, it started with this guy right here. His name is Pythagoras, and he lived a very long time ago in ancient Greece, 570 BC to 495 BC, alright, a really long time ago. And in ancient Greece, there wasn't a whole lot to do back then, so Pythagoras just kind of sat around thinking about math all day, and he came up with some stuff. All right, there was no internet, no cable TV, no smartphones, nothing like that, no gaming. So pretty much it was a middle school student's worst nightmare, ancient Greece. All right, so Pythagoras, he just kind of sat around and he thought about math. So one day, Pythagoras was probably sitting there on a stone chair, because they didn't have much for furniture, and he was probably thinking about what type of toga he wanted to buy next, get the latest fashion in togas. And he was probably playing with a stick and drawing some triangles in the dirt, and he discovered something about these type of triangles right here, a right triangle. A triangle that has at least one right angle. And this is what he found out. He took this triangle and he labeled one of the sides A, and another side B, and the last side C, and he called A and B the legs of a triangle. Okay, A and B are the legs, and the legs are the two sides that make the right angle. Okay, so A and B, they make this right angle here. And C is what we call the hypotenuse. And the hypotenuse is the side that is opposite of the right angle. Okay, so we have A and B, those make the legs, and C makes the hypotenuse. And while Pythagoras was drawing out this triangle, he discovered something. He discovered that if you take side A to the power of 2, and if you add side B to the power of 2, you will get side C to the power of 2. All right, something he discovered way back when. We're still using it today. And we're going to use this when we do some algebra, like we're going to do down here in part B. When we don't know one of the sides of a triangle, we can use this equation that he came up with to help us find out what the missing sides are. All right, so let's check out to see how this is going to all work and come together. All right, we're going to move down to part B. And here's the first triangle that we are going to work with. This triangle, C, the hypotenuse is missing. We do not know what C is. Okay, so we're going to figure that out. So, here's our right angle. And we know one of the sides is 3. So we'll call this A. That's one of the legs. And we know that this other side is 4. Okay, we'll label that B because that's the other leg. But we don't know what C is. Okay, so we can take and use this equation up here that he came up with and just plug those numbers in to find out what c is, this missing side. Okay, so if I take, since 3 is a, I'm going to take 3 to the power of 2 plus 4 to the power of 2, okay, because that's what b is. I'm just following this right here. I'm putting the numbers in a and b where they belong. That will give us side c to the power of 2. All right, we set it up just like that. And now we're just going to do some math. We're going to work this out. So we're going to take 3 to the power of 2. That's going to give us 9. We're going to take 4 to the power of 2. That'll get us 16. Add that up, and we get 25. Okay. Now, we have one more step to do. A lot of people, they like to stop right here and be like, boom, I got 25. I'm all done. There's nothing else to do. I'm sorry. If you are thinking that, you are wrong. There is something else to do. This is not the answer. Okay, this is side c to the power of 2. Okay, so 25 is a number to the power of 2. So we got to actually find out what the square root of 25 is. Okay, because c to the power of 2 is 25. We just want c. We don't want c to the power of 2. So if we take the square root of 25, that gets us 5. And that's exactly what we want. Okay, so c is 5. And we can label that right here. Okay, so it's not 25, it's 5. We got to find the square root of that. All right, so watch out for those. Okay, we just did an algebra problem where c is missing. Now let's do a problem where we have either a or b missing. We have one of the legs that have gone missing. All right, so I'm going to scoot this over just a little bit. Awesome. Okay, so we have 15 for one of the legs. Okay, we'll put our right angle down here, just like that. And we can call this A. All right, and B is the other leg that we do not know what it is. And C is 17. Okay, so using that same equation that we just did, the Pythagorean Theorem, we're going to put the numbers where they go into this equation. So I have 15 to the power of 2 plus b to the power of 2, okay, because I don't know what b is, so I got to leave b just like that. And that will equal 17 to the power of 2. Okay, there we go. Now you guys can see it. All right, so that's what we have. Now let's start doing some math. We're going to take 15 to the power of 2. That's going to give me 225 plus b to the power of 2 equals 17 to the power of 2 okay, that gives us 289. All right, we're down to this step. Time for some Chapter 7 solving equations. We're going to go back to Chapter 7. We need to cancel out 225 because we're trying to get b by itself. Do a minus 225 over here. Subtract that. We get 64. Okay, bring down our equal sign and bring down our b to the power of 2. All right, and some people might know what the answer is already. There's one last step we have to do. So we are going to take, because 64 is b squared, b to the power of 2. We just want b by itself. So I'm going to take the square root of 64, which would be 8. Okay, so that's what that missing side is. B equals 8. Okay, so you're going to have some homework questions like that. The next type of homework problems you're going to have is the same thing, but this time the triangles are going to be into a word problem. All right, so let's check that out, and we will see if we can solve this. We're going to do the same exact steps. We have a word problem here. Okay, and in this word problem, we have Ben, who has a rectangular garden 12 feet by 5 feet. His wife is nagging him, oh my gosh, just nagging him to plant marigolds in the garden. All right, one thing I do not like is marigolds. I've never really gotten why people like that flower so much. It smells just funny. I don't get it. Oh, but back to the problem. So, the marigolds. So he decides to plant a row of marigolds in a diagonal line in the garden. All right, he's trying to make his wife happy. And he has enough marigolds to make a 15-foot row. All right, so we need to find out if he has enough marigolds to make the entire diagonal and to make his wife happy. All right, we're going to figure this out for him. We're going to try and help Ben out, see if we can help him out. So, step number 1. We are going to draw a pick, okay, so we can kind of get a visual of what's going on. I'm a very visual person. I like to see what's happening. Okay, so let's draw this rectangular garden. Okay, that's a very nice garden right there, nice rectangle. And we know that it is 12 feet by 5 feet. Okay, and he needs to plant a row of marigolds going diagonal. So we're going to make a diagonal line of marigolds that are going to be going across his garden. All right, that's a weird spot to put marigolds, but hey, it's not my garden. This is Ben's garden. Okay, and that's the hypotenuse. If you haven't guessed that already, we're trying to find the hypotenuse. There's our right angle, so we can call this side A. We can call this side B. All right, and we just did step number 2. You have to label the legs and the hypotenuse. Okay, make sure you got each one right. Don't get them confused. Okay, legs and the hypotenuse. Then step number 3, we're going to use the Pythagorean Theorem. The thing we just did up above there, we're going to use that. All right, we're going to set it up. And then step number 4, we're going to solve. Okay, just like the steps up above. Same exact steps, just have a word problem this time. All right, so let's take a look at this. Let's get we labeled the sides. We're going to go and get our Pythagorean Theorem set up here. So we have, using the equation up above, a squared, so that's 5 squared plus b squared, 12 squared, is going to equal c squared. All right? Time to do some math, see if we can solve this. We're going to get 25. Maybe you guys are ahead of me already. That would be great. 25 plus 144 equals 169. Okay, so that's not our answer. All right, this diagonal is not 169 feet long. That would be way too much for this triangle. So we have c squared equals 169. So we just want to find c. So we got to take the square root of that. And that comes out to 13. All right, so c is 13 feet. And it looks like Ben is going to make his wife happy because he has enough marigolds for 15 feet. He only needs to plant 13 feet, so who knows? He's going to have a couple extra marigolds. Maybe he can even make a nice planter or something and get some bonus points out of the deal. So, nice job, class. You guys made Ben happy. He's excited. His wife's happy. Everybody is happy now. All right? There's your first lesson on the Pythagorean Theorem. I hope you liked that. I hope that went okay. You guys can now get started on your homework. Good luck, and we'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same place.